you know, when we set out to figure out how to approach the global work, really the first thing we did was, we worked with Teach First, which was the first international adaptation of Teach for America. And we defined these unifying principles, the kind of shared purpose and vision that would bring us together, a set of programmatic principles and organizational principles. And that still to this day, I mean, we've now refined them and kind of co-created them with most of the partners who are now part of the network over time. But those are really crucial, right? Because anyone who's working to live into those principles in their countries, we want to be contributing to their success. We want to be learning from them. But those really have to be true to give us enough in common that we can learn from each other. So that was really the first step. But one of our values is, locally rooted and globally informed. And, we believe so much that the path to transformation and system change is ultimately locally rooted leaders who are steeped in local context, history, values, who have trust in their communities. And at the same time, we just believe local leaders can move a lot faster if they're exposed to what's working and evidence of what's possible in other communities. And so we've really built the network kind of rooted in that value alongside others.
And you do this globally informed glue, network support. Reid Hoffman, has talked to you about that network orientation. So how do you think about what you can do in that network to add value so that people say, hey, I want to be part of this?
Yeah. Well, we've built up, so we have a global organization. So the first thing, I think at the very front end of this, we developed a very, very simple, deceptively simple theory about how we were going to maximize global impact. And it's that we were going to, these things had to be true, that there must be local ownership, entrepreneurship, and leadership, plus a global kind of platform to enable everyone to learn from each other. And therefore we'd have all of this innovation and we'd capture and spread the innovation and things would get progressively, better over time. I mean, that was the theory. And again, it sounds so simple, but we've rooted every single decision in that. So, we don't initiate these organizations in other countries. Like, we really wait for people to come saying, I really want to pursue this in this country. And then we come behind them. We never get out in front of them. So we do a lot to help expose them to how people in similar contexts or different contexts have kind of adapted those unifying principles in their countries. We, do anything they want us to do as they work to build governmental support, build the organizational capacity to launch, find the funding to do it. But they really own it and drive it from the very start. And then we do put a lot into essentially surfacing insights from the network and spreading them and fostering kind of the connective tissue and the relationships among the staff members, and in our case also among the teachers and the alumni those teachers become, so that ultimately we're building this deeply interconnected learning kind of global community.
And it takes a lot of trust, I imagine, to be vulnerable, open up, share, work back and forth, right? So it's almost working on those leadership skills for each of the parties. This collective leadership model, which is a little different than other models. So maybe tell me a little bit about that culture. How do you say what are the unique aspects of the culture, and how do you hold it together?
I think our purpose and our values and our kind of vision do a lot of the work for us. I'm always amazed, honestly. I just think we magnetize the same hearts, minds, and souls all over the world. But I think a lot of it, I don't even know how to explain that. like, but I think a lot of it is it's just the magnetic power of what it is that we're aiming to do. So I think that's part of it. Just this super clear purpose that, we're all here to develop collective leadership to ensure all kids fulfill their potential. These values that we've named, which, each network partner really thinks through, like, what needs to be true in our particular context. Like when we're at our best in Haiti or in Armenia, like what will the values be that we will be living into? But we also have kind of co-created a set of values that we've all agreed to live into as we work together across the global network. A sense of possibility, a commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion, locally rooted and globally informed, constant learning, and interdependence. We'll all be stronger if we're working together and pushing and challenging and supporting each other. So I think, and then we work together to create the big vision. By 25 years from now, we're going to see whole communities in every part of the world that enable all kids to have the education, support, and opportunity to shape a better future for themselves and for all of us. So I think the clarity of that strategic framework does so very much work for us. So that's a piece. And then I think we have put so much into just the relationship building across the network. And at least prior to the COVID years, we built the whole thing on Zoom, but we also would have, 25 in-person gatherings a year of different people. Like we have the big global conference that brings, lots of folks from all these partners together, but we also have events for heads of like functions or people taking on similar challenges or brought together by similar interests. And I think those personal relationships it's really hard to imagine how this whole thing would work without them. I think that has been really significant.